Thank you all for being here today. Once again, my name is Brian Santo, and I'm the director of the Macomb County Department of Roads. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy day to learn more about Innovate Mound construction. During the course of 2020, we were out in the community meeting stakeholders, residents, motorists, and business owners to align the project plans to address the needs of the corridor users. The community along Mound Road has been critical to the success of this project, and we are very thankful for all the public's input and participation, both in person and virtual, that has led us to this groundbreaking milestone. Thank you to our project partners, the cities of Sterling Heights and Warren, the Federal Highway Administration, the Michigan Department of Transportation, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, various Michigan legislators, Macomb County Board of Commissioners, Macomb County Executive Office, and our owner's rep, HNTB. As you may have seen, construction began on Mound Road in 2021. The heavy road work will get started in the spring of 2022 this year through late fall and early winter of this year also, from 15.5 mile road north to M59. From there, we will go into phase 2 of construction from the south half of the corridor from 15.5 mile to I-696. Phase 2 will have a similar timeline, with work starting in early 2023 and wrapping up in late fall and early winter of 2023. The overall project completion will be in the summer of 2024. The Innovate Mound project team will provide additional details related to construction activities planned for 2022 and beyond. We understand the challenges residents, businesses, and motorists face in and around the work zone. We have a dedicated project ombudsman for the construction of Mound Road. His name is John Bailey, and he has been and will be on the job and is available to address any concerns and questions from residents and businesses along the corridor. Again, for any traffic concerns, safety issues, or anything else related to construction, the project ombudsman will be available with boots on the ground in real time. You can reach the project ombudsman, John Bailey, at 1-855-MOUND-4U. We very much look forward to innovating Mound Road to serve all users in our community. Thank you again for your continued support. And now I'll turn it over to Steve Griffith and the team for the project presentation.
All right, thank you, Brian. Thanks again, everyone, for taking time out of your day to join us to learn about Mound Road. We met in last summer to discuss the start of construction. Now we've had our first construction season doing some of the temporary work, and we want to update everyone along the corridor as to the work completed and what to anticipate in 2022 and beyond. So my name is Steve Griffith. I'm the project manager for HNTB. Also joining us today is Win Win, who is the deputy project manager in overseeing the design of the Mound Road corridor for the owner's rep, and then Ryan Sarmiento, who's the deputy project manager overseeing the construction, engineering, and inspection roles. So with that, looking at the project team, Innovate Mound project is a design build project with Macomb County as the owner and manager of the Mound Road corridor. They have hired HNTB as the project management team to support them with the design oversight, as well as construction engineering and inspection. The HNTB team is being supported with local consulting firms, SSI, SOMAT Engineering, and HRC for various inspection, material testing, and survey tasks. And then the design build team is being led by Dan's Excavating out of Shelby Township, local contractor who is the overall contract manager or contractor for the project, responsible for earthwork as well as sanitary sewer repairs, water main, storm sewer work. They're supported by Ajax Paving, a Michigan contractor who will be performing the concrete paving within the corridor. And then AECOM is the lead design firm responsible for completing project plans and submitting those for the design team or the owner's rep team to review and accept. Again, I want to thank our partners on the project, City of Sterling Heights, City of Warren, as well as the U.S. Department of Transportation, MDOT, SEMCOG, and FHWA. So with that, this is a overall project timeline as we work through construction of the project. In the 2021, we completed the temporary widenings from M59 to 15 Mile Road to start construction early spring of 2022. So over the last few months, we've been taking miscellaneous single lane closures to continue work with the municipal utility repairs in Sterling Heights, both sanitary sewer lining as well as water main and fire hydrant replacements and repairs. We're looking to start construction, the main reconstruction of the north segment of the project here on March 1 of this year. And that work will begin from M59 and run to 15 Mile Road. We will start with closing the right 2 lanes of Mound Road in each direction, maintaining 2 lanes in the inside lanes in the new temporary widening installed last season. That work will run through about August of 2022, at which point we'll switch traffic and put traffic on the newly constructed outside lanes while we reconstruct the inside lanes. The overall open to traffic date for the 2022 work is late November. During that time frame, we will have work ongoing similar to this winter with single lane closures to complete some municipal utility work. Then again in 2023, we will start with full reconstruction of the south segment of the project from 15 Mile to 11 Mile Road. That work will run from March through the end of November of 2023. Then we'll have some miscellaneous work in 2024 to wrap up some of the ITS work, testing of that, as well as permanent pavement markings and any punch list work, restoration, repairs, landscaping. So with that, we'll look at the construction activities for 2022. So 2022, we'll be working in the entire corridor. On the north segment, we'll be reconstructing the roadway from just north of 15 Mile to M59. Then in the south half, in the late summer of 2022, we'll begin work similar to the work completed last season. We'll begin temporary widenings and some of the miscellaneous storm sewer repairs on the south half of the project in preparation for reconstruction in 2023. So this shows the permanent construction activities ongoing in the north segment of the project in 2022. We'll start construction again in March, wrap that up in December of 2022. This work will include reconstruction and widening of Mound Road, widening from 17 Mile to M59, full reconstruction of the pavement, including new open graded drainage course, under drain system, new concrete pavement, installation of new signing, traffic signals, pavement markings, as well as storm sewer repairs, new storm sewer cross leads, and drain structures. And then the completion of the Mound Road bridges over the Plumbrook Creek. Last season, we completed the substructure work, those bridges. This year in the early spring, we'll be completing the deck widenings and some other rehab work at those bridges. This also includes the major intersection reconstructions at 19 Mile, 18.5 Mile, 18 Mile, 17 Mile Road, and then the Metro Parkway and Mound Road intersection. During construction, we'll be closing most of the major intersections and detouring traffic. Ryan will cover that in a little more detail later in the presentation, but we will be maintaining cross traffic along Mound and 16 Mile Road at all times during construction. Next slide shows the temporary construction limits for 2022. This work will begin in mid-August and will run through November and into early December of 2022. In this segment, we'll be doing temporary widenings to maintain traffic for the reconstruction in 2023. Also be completing storm sewer cross lead installation and beginning some of the municipal utility repairs in the city of Warren, both the water main and sanitary sewers. We'll also be making intersection improvements and widenings for maintaining traffic at 12 Mile, 13 Mile, 14 Mile, and 15 Mile intersections. We're also currently working with the design builder to look at the potential of getting an early start on some of the structure work down on the south end of the project. We're considering construction of the Bear Creek culvert and the McCoy Drain culvert replacements starting in late summer of 2022 as well. As we work through the construction scheduling and logistics of that, we'll have a better understanding of that, and we'll provide that in a future Innovate Mound newsletter update. So the next slide shows some of the detailed anticipated construction schedule for 2022. So reconstructing both bounds of Mound Road, northbound and southbound, that begins in March and runs through August. Then immediately following the completion of those outside lanes, we'll be switching traffic and focused on reconstructing the inside lanes as well as the median crossovers. That work will include intersection work, both during the stage 1 construction as well as stage 2 construction. We'll also be completing the storm sewer, water main and sanitary sewer repairs throughout 2022 in the northern segment of the project. And then the bridge work at the Plumbrook Bridge is scheduled to wrap up sometime in early May of 2022. Moving on to the south segment of the project for the temporary works from 696 up to M59. That work will begin with temporary widening starting sometime in mid-August and will run through end of November. We'll also have storm sewer, sanitary sewer, water main repairs ongoing in September. That will run through the seasonal suspension, and then we'll allow temporary lane closures on a daily basis to continue that work in a productive manner and get an early start on 2023 construction. Water main work will be falling behind shortly after. Anticipate starting that in October. That work will continue through the winter of 2023 as well, similar to how work progressed this season. Finally, we will have the cleanup and short-term lane closures in November, December of 2022. With that, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Win-Win, who will discuss some of the new design features being incorporated into the Innovate Mound project.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Steve touched on major construction work scope. Now I'm going to give an overview of some of the features that are important parts of this corridor improvement. One of those are the detention basins that will be installed from 15 Mile Road to M59 due to the adding of impervious areas, mostly coming from the widening section. To meet federal water quality requirements for stormwater, 8 detention basins will be installed in the median. The detention basins help to ensure runoff occurs at an acceptable rate. The basin will help increase water infiltration during rain events and ensure that stormwater quality discharging to the water of the state is maintained. You see on the top picture, view 2, it's a rendering of what the motoring public would see once vegetation is established around the detention basins. Michigan native plants species that are tolerant to both wet and dry conditions will be used to ensure the basins operate as expected and maintain the aesthetics for the corridor. And on the bottom picture, you will see the cross section of the detention basins. On to the utilities work along the corridor. There are a noticeable amount of utility work within the corridor. Steve again touched on the water main and sanitary that will happen for both the city of Sterling Heights and city of Warren, which will include new installs, replacements, as well as repair and lining of selected segments. There are also numerous private utility companies within the corridor. Just to name a few, we have DTE, Consumers, AT&T, Verizon, Comcast. These utility companies has facilities both overhead and underground. In addition to resolving conflicts with construction activities, utility companies are taking this opportunity to upgrade their facilities. One of the major utility in the corridor, DTE, will relocate transmission line and pole to mostly east of Mound, on the east side of Mound Road, to accommodate the installation of the multi-use path that will be constructed on the west side. Also, instead of wood poles, DTE will install steel poles from 14 to 18 Mile Road. Communication companies who are mostly DTE share users will also be relocating to new poles that will be provided by DTE. Another major improvement from a utility company is consumers, who will be replacing the median and high pressure gas main in the median from 11 to 14 Mile Road. And then there's street lighting, which is also part of this project, is getting an upgrade. Currently, there are different lighting type and style throughout the corridor. New energy efficient LED lighting will be installed in the median, with added lighting at the intersection for both the city of Warren and the city of Sterling Heights. The idea is that once this corridor is done, the utility companies will have upgraded their facilities, and they would not have to come in to either tear up pavement or upgrade the facility at a different time. Moving on. All right, traffic signal and intelligent transportation system. I kind of want to highlight the improvements that will be implemented. If you look at the picture on the right, it's an example signal mast arm that will be installed at all signalized location. The configuration will be box span, which allows for better alignment of signal head and the travel lane. The pavement marking stop bars will be further away from the signal to provide more visibility to drivers. The signal will also be on adaptive traffic control, signal control that will help optimize traffic flow real time. Pedestrian signals will also be installed at intersection for crossings. The mast arm will be painted black as shown in the picture to maintain consistent look throughout the corridor. The project will also incorporate intelligent transportation system component, infrastructure like conduit, fiber optic backbone, roadside units, RSUs, will enable connected and autonomous vehicle application. Essentially, is getting the infrastructure in place to be ready for connected and autonomous vehicle. Traffic cameras will be installed to help with real-time incident management. Sensors along with associated technology will be in place to monitor roadway weather condition to proactively manage roadway maintenance activity. Pavement sensor will monitor stress and strain in pavement due to loading that will help the county to plan for future maintenance activities. The signals will also have Wi-Fi detectors as well as camera detection that, again, as I mentioned, will help to improve traffic data to assist with traffic management as well. So in conjunction with all the different technologies that are being installed, a data management system will be developed to process the information to optimize the operation of the corridor for years to come. Moving on. So moving on to the road work. Again, Steve have touched on a lot of the major road work scope. But if you look at the cross-section board here, the top left picture is the existing section for Mound from 11 to 17 Mile Road, and the bottom image is the proposed section. The configuration will stay pretty much the same, 4 lanes on both bounds. The top right is the existing cross-section 17 to M59. It's currently 3 lanes in each direction. And then on the bottom is the proposed section showing an additional lane widening to the outside. For both the widening and the non-widening section, there will be a continuous multi-use path on the west side of Mound that will mostly be 8 foot wide, although it varies in some areas due to right-of-way restrictions. On the east side of Mound, sidewalk gaps will be filled in at selected location based upon review of needs and the agreement with the cities. The sidewalk on the east will be 5 feet wide. The median will stay pretty much the same in width to accommodate vehicle turning, especially trucks. The pavement section throughout the corridor will be 11-inch concrete with an open graded drainage course. Again, under drains will be installed to ensure proper drainage of the pavement. I also want to mention that the storm work throughout the corridor will be mainly replacement of cross lead, drainage structure, catch basin, and repairs of existing trunk line sewer as needed, and it's not a wholesale replacement of the trunk line sewer. Moving on. Asset management. As part of the project, analysis was done to review the safety of the crossover within the corridor. If you look at the picture on the left here, a few crossover were slated to be relocated to improve safety based upon crash analysis and row audit. Again, you can see the location of those changes. It might be hard to see in the slide, but again, this will be posted on the website if anyone is interested in looking more closely at the locations. On the right-hand side image is an example of a crossover change at Heathdale Avenue. This is near 696 on the south end. At this location, the crossover is will be shifted south to remove the weaving conflict from vehicles coming from the neighborhood on the west side to go northbound on Mound. You can see model here how it will really improve safety for motorists to reduce the need for quick action to make the maneuver to go northbound. Also, driveway access was reviewed. Changes will be constructed as agreed upon. Some of the changes were to consolidate drive, remove drive that were not needed, or to configure to improve safer access. These changes, again, will further improve safety within the corridor. Moving on. Aesthetics improvements. This project will incorporate many aesthetic features within the historic Warren area. In addition to the landscaping that will be installed throughout the corridor, perennials and ornamental grass will also be planted. There will be enhanced landscaping at intersections, and decorative lighting will also be installed at selected intersections. Crosswalk will be colored to provide contrast and improve visibility. In the median, evergreens and ornamental trees will also be planted. The map to the right here is a location overview of the aesthetic feature I just discussed. Again, if you look at the pink area, it's through the historic Warren between Chicago and Arden that will have added perennials and ornamental grass planted. The timeline you see on the bottom provides an overview of the procurement of the landscaping contractor. The idea is that once the road contractor gets complete the segment, then the landscaping will come right after. The landscaping contractor will be procured through a CMGC contracting delivery method. A contractor basically will be brought on board to provide constructability input during design and potentially can complete out construction. This will help to ensure that the expertise from the contractor is captured during design. The anticipated planning for segment 1 work will be spring, summer of 2023 and spring and fall for 2024 for segment 2. The contract will also include 2 years of watering and cultivating to ensure that landscaping is established enough to last. And now I will hand it over to Ryan Sarmiento to the construction traffic items.
Awesome. Thanks, Wynn. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be covering some additional details regarding the 2022 construction activities as it relates to how the contractor plans on maintaining traffic and access to driveways and side streets during the different stages of work. On this slide, you will see two different cross sections of northbound and southbound Mound that illustrate how live vehicular traffic will be configured and where the live work zone will be. These illustrations represent the typical work zone along Mound Road from 15 Mile to M59 for the entirety of the 2022 construction season. The top picture is how the traffic will be configured from roughly March to August of this year, with the live vehicular traffic being on the two inside lanes nearest to the median, which are made up of the existing Mound pavement and the temporary asphalt pavement that was built last year to properly widen out the road to accommodate enough room and shy distance between the live traffic and proposed work zone. With the traffic in this configuration for roughly 5 to 6 months, there will ultimately be impacts to residents and business owners access. However, our project team is committed to ensure impacts are minimal and that if access can be maintained, that it will be maintained. Dan's has identified different scenarios for maintaining traffic or closing certain driveways, depending on the situation, side streets and intersections that will be covered later in the presentation. As construction progresses to August and Dan's completes the permanent pavement, driveways and sidewalk, they will flip traffic into the configuration that you see on the bottom, which depicts the typical work zone from roughly August to November. At this point, the live traffic will be switched over to the outside 2 lanes, which consist of driving on the brand new permanent pavement that was constructed from March to August. With the work zone, the work zone will be in the 2 inside lanes closest to the median, where Dan's will focus on reconstructing and beautifying the median. At this point, all driveways will be open in its permanent state, so there should be very little to no impacts when it comes to access to residencies and businesses. However, we do understand that this does not relieve the obvious impacts that any construction project has on adjacent stakeholders, so we still understand that. I just want to let you know that during the configuration on the bottom, there should be very limited impact on that. This kind of wraps up the typical cross sections for the 2022 construction activities from March to November of 2022. Now we'll take a look at the fall to winter configurations of the south end. So we'll focus on the south part of the project stretching from 696 to 15 Mile. This will look very similar to the traffic configurations that were in place last year during the temporary widening work from 15.5 Mile to 59. To conduct similar temporary pavement widenings, storm sewer and water main upgrades and or repairs, the traffic will be pushed to the outside lanes so that the contractor has enough space to conduct the required work within the median area and the 2 lanes, inside 2 lanes. This work should take place from roughly August to November when the seasonal suspension takes into effect. During the seasonal suspension, we will be in the winter configuration, which is shown on the bottom, which basically just depicts the normal Mound Road traffic configuration with the newly installed temporary pavement, which will not have any traffic on it during the winter, but it will be there. During the 2022 construction season from 15 Mile to M59, the contractor will need to perform multiple intersection closures at major Mile Road crossings to conduct reconstruction of the pavement, utilities, etc. These major intersections include 17 Mile, 18 Mile, 18.5 Mile, and 19 Mile Road. On the next couple slides, we will go over the proposed detours for these closures. The contract does require these intersections to be closed no more than 21 days and for no more than 2 times throughout the construction season. These closures only restrict traffic flow through Mound Road, while the traffic along northbound and southbound will be maintained during the closures. For illustration of these closures and their respective detours, If we take a look at the illustrations on the slide, on the left-hand side, you will see the closure for the 17-mile road. The existing through traffic is shown by the light blue lines, while the proposed detours in the purple. The detour sounds would promptly redirect westbound or eastbound 17-mile traffic approaching Mound Road to utilize Van Dyke, 18-mile road, and Ryan Road to continue that eastbound to westbound movement through 17-mile, 18-mile, 18.5, and 19. On the right side, you will see the similar detour for 18-mile. In 19-mile, 18-mile detour will utilize Van Dyke, 17-mile, and Ryan Road as shown on the illustration to the right. As for 19-mile, it is on the right-hand side of the screen right now. It will utilize Van Dyke, 18-mile, and Ryan Road for the detour purposes. So those three were pretty much the same type of detour, whether it's detouring at 1 mile or 1 mile south or north to kind of continue that movement eastbound or westbound. 18.5-mile road is a little different since the through traffic of 18.5-mile is staggered across Mound Road. Vehicular users of 18.5-mile road west of Mound Road will be detoured to Ryan Road down to 18-mile road and back over to Mound Road to proceed heading eastbound 18.5-mile. Moving along, as discussed earlier, maintaining traffic to commercial, resident, industrial properties is paramount during the early stages of the 2022 construction. If I could draw your attention to the box on the left-hand side for commercial driveway reconstruction, you will find two different configurations, one on the top, one on the bottom, that will be used at different locations pending their driveway situation, such as if a business or businesses have multiple driveway access points, they'll utilize the one on the bottom to quickly proceed with, consists of completely closing one driveway to reconstruct it in a quicker fashion, while allowing the other driveway that has access to that business as well to stay open. If there is only one driveway access, that's where the top configuration will be utilized, which is called a part with construction. The contractor will maintain an ingress and egress movement while reconstructing one half of the drive approach, shown as phase A. Once that construction is complete, the contractor will then flip the traffic to the newly constructed side and close off the other side to construct it in its entire approach. And that's depicted in phase A and B. For residential and directional driveways, part width constructions will be performed to ensure access to these property owners, make sure that access is always maintained at all times. If there are any issues, questions, or concerns, as Brian mentioned earlier in the presentation, that you may have regarding the Innovate Mound project, please contact our project ombudsman. Here's his name, Jonathan Bailey, who will be available for you 24 hours, 7 days a week by phone. He will do his best to be on call to answer any questions or concerns you may have. You can reach him by dialing 1-855-MOUND for you, and then press the number 2 when prompted to get directly to his number. If you would like additional information regarding the project or have any project specific questions, please feel free to email info@innovatemound.org, and someone on our project team will address your question in a very timely manner. With that, I would like to thank everyone for listening, and